What's up, I'm Joe. You know, nothing brings a conversation to a screaming halt like somebody using a cliche or colloquialism they don't understand. It really just grinds my ears to have somebody misusing cliches, wielding the English language like they're bowling a china shop, but not actually knowing what they're saying. I mean, if you don't understand what you're talking about, the rest of us don't have a snowball's chance if hell freezes over of understanding your point. I know that I'm rallying the choir a little bit here, but you have to jump through so many hurdles to tell somebody that they're up a creek without a clue that it feels like you're just putting the cart before swine. So I decided to make a sousier into lemonade and help out these poor, misguided lovers of language. After all, their hearts are on the right sleeve, and I don't want to throw the baby out of the bathwater. So without further ado, here are 11 idioms that often get misused. Worst comes to worst. This one's often misunderstood, and it means that the worst possible thing happens to your bratwurst, which is to have your dog pee on it. At this point in the evening, only the most extreme contingency plans could possibly save the barbecue, and any good cook knows it's good to have a backup plan in case worst comes to worst. A hair's breadth, as in I just missed by a hair's breadth. Bunnies have extremely tiny lungs, and so their breaths are very small and short. So a hair's breadth is the amount of time that a bunny takes to inhale and exhale. Just desserts. You get your just desserts when you show up late for dinner, and so there's no more food left, and all you get to eat is dessert. So no dog pee bratwurst for you. How does that make you feel? Now you just eat your pie and think about what you've done. Free rein. This comes from the Dust Bowl during the Depression era, when farmers would have to pay tons of money to try and get water to their land to grow their crops. But rain is always free, so if you get free rein, you can do whatever you want with your money. And a scapegoat is another old-timey phrase that comes from before cars, when bank robbers would get away on horseback. Now, if the police saw a horse suspiciously waiting outside, they would hold on to it until the owner came back with their legally obtained funds. But the really clever bank robbers would leave a horse out back, but a specially trained goat in front that they could ride away on, because who would ever suspect a goat of being involved in a bank robbery? Hairbrained. This actually comes from the ancient Roman belief that when you start balding, your hair stops growing on the outside of your head and starts growing on the inside. So it clogs up your brain and it starts making you do and say really weird and stupid things. A required taste is something that you have to like in order to be cool. It's usually referring to something that nobody actually likes but everyone pretends to, like basketball or Les Mis. What's that? You say you didn't like close-up of actors crying the musical? I'm sorry, but that's a required taste. A mute point. This point has no bearing on the argument, because nobody can hear it. Maybe we should stop using thought speech. A cut-up of the rest is when you take the best parts from all the members of a group and combine them to make one awesome thing that's obviously number one. Like if you took all the best parts from Running Man, Lord of the Flies, Spartacus, Death Race 2000, Rollerball, The Most Dangerous Game, and Battle Royale and turned them into a book series, or a movie, or a web series. A foregone conclusion is a trope that playwrights and screenwriters have been using for hundreds of years. It's the ending that you know is going to happen when you have 5 main characters in a tragedy. You know that 4 of them are going to die, and then the last one is going to be on stage when 4 of them are gone to wrap everything up for the audience. So when you're in an audience watching a show with 5 main characters, you know that when 4 are gone, they're going to conclude the play, and you can go home and make sure your dog hasn't peed on your bratwurst. A loose cannon is when an author makes contradictory statements about the world that they're writing, or changes conventions later that they set up previously for the sake of convenience. Like if your 7-book series suddenly at the end took a turn and became about racial tensions and wand lore and ancient fables. Loose cannon. Very dangerous. Well, I hope that helped air out the playing field a little bit. Don't bother thanking me. A good deed is its own award. Now that you understand the lion's hair of these cliches and idioms, go out and use them in your campaign speeches and English papers. As for me, I've got to make like a tree and end this video. 50 XP for watching. Peace and love. I don't want to throw the baby out with... Can't even say it wrong. Baby out with the bathwater.